So Spencer Dinwiddie is somebody that most people probably know in the NBA. Genuinely, most fans know who Spencer Dinwiddie is that have been fans of the NBA for any time in the last decade. Um, he's somebody that was a big time player not too long ago and by not too long ago, I mean in a matter of months ago, for the Dallas Mavericks? Did he play for last season? Like, he started 30 games. He was basically a starter. He played 27 minutes a game last year. It's not like this is somebody that was nearly out of the league. He played 27 minutes a game, averaging 11 points per game. He averaged 11 points a game. Like, he's not somebody who people thought was going to be out of the league anytime soon. He's not particularly old either. He's 32 years old. And he managed to be out of the league and is playing for Bayern Munich. The last time Dinwiddie was not at least a part-time starter was in the 2018-19 season. And that was after coming off a year previously when he was a starter, where in that season he averaged 16.8 points per game off the bench and didn't win Sixth Man of the Year. It's kind of crazy, but still. This is somebody who has been a really good starter for quite a lot of his career. And is all of a sudden deemed surplus to requirements by not only his team, by the entire league. And it's one of those things looking at it. It just shows the level of talent, in my opinion, in the NBA when we are looking at a player of Spencer Dinwiddie's level playing for Bayern Munich. When we look at a player his level being out of this league. And I also do have to say, I actually as well have a little bit of time for that because the NBA said they were done with him. But it's not like he's just said, you know what, let me go play in the 7th best league in the world, in the G League. He went and said, you know what, I'm going to go and play in the 2nd best league in the world, in EuroLeague. Yes, domestic league, Germany's not at the level of a France, a Spain, a Turkey, or to be honest, on the men's side, probably even a Greece. Like domestically, it's not wouldn't be the highest level. Like there's a couple of good teams in Germany, but like that's kind of really it. But at the same time, he's doing that instead of doing what so many other players would do and play in the G League where they're 10 times better than than everyone they're coming up against. Like there's none of their matchups are going to be anything close to them in the G League. And you're coming up against players and you're just kind of sitting there waiting and hoping. You're living in hope that eventually an NBA team calls you. And a player, and I do like this because again, this is an iron sharpens iron thing. Like you are more likely to get assigned next season after playing at a higher level than, playing in the G League and hoping for the best. Because we've seen so many players in the NBA go to the G League and just kind of get stuck down there. And a big thing was, if you guys ever saw the game when the G League All-Stars faced Malaga and they got destroyed. Like Malaga's an ACB, I think it was Malaga, but they're an ACB team. They're not a EuroLeague team. They're not even one of the top ACB teams. They played a mid-level ACB team of Spain and got destroyed. And like the players on Malaga were there like, I mean, their team just like they would struggle in this. They would struggle in the top tier in France. They're about the level of the 2nd tier of France. They were like, that's kind of the level that they're at as a G League. And during that, Juan Toscano Anderson was quoted saying, it was like, it's not our dream to play in EuroLeague. It's not our dream to play against these guys. Our dream is to play in the NBA, in the best league in the world, and they're killing us. And I'm like, well, if your dream is to play in the best league in the world, I understand the most direct path is in the G League. But if you're trying to work your way up to the NBA via the G League, which a lot of players are, you are living in hope that somebody gets hurt. You're living in hope that a team goes through a crisis. That's really what you're living in hope of doing, especially if you're an older player. Because there are so many players that have kind of, the end of their career has gone into a lull because it's, oh, I want to play in Puerto Rico so that I'm close for an NBA call-up. Everything's just a flight away. Like, if you want to, go sign a Lonnie Walker deal. Go have an NBA out in your contract, being like, look, if an NBA team wants me, I'm signing for that NBA team. Have that out in your contract. If that's what if your whole goal is the NBA and it's NBA or bust, have a Lonnie Walker clause. Have something in it so that you're only going to, like, you're playing in the NBA, or you're only going to leave if it's for the NBA. And I think there's a lot of players that have those clauses, and there's a lot of players that are NBA or bust. And look, if that's your mentality, that's fine. Everyone's allowed to have different priorities. Everyone's allowed to prioritize, I just want to play in the NBA, otherwise I'm not a pro. But it's one of those weird mentalities that they have in America, and they're like, oh, the pros is only, if you're not an NBA player, you're not a pro. And I'm like, man, Spencer Dinwiddie's making 7 figures. There are players in the freaking, I get it, it's not NBA money, but there are players in EuroLeague making $6-7 million a year. And at $6-7 million a year, you're making, like, that's serious money for anybody, no matter what. And rather than making a couple of 100,000 in the G League, and how many players have we seen that aren't, the caveat to this and the exception to this are young players. We have seen plenty of young players that have gone to the G League, have gotten their chance, and have gotten their way, have found their way back to the NBA and done well. But that's because they're using the G League what it is in the way it's supposed to be used, as a development league. So yes, the G League can absolutely be used as a development league for developing young players. But older players aren't going to be developed in the G League. And so many of them are so dead set on, I'm only playing in the NBA. If I'm not an NBA level player, I'm retiring. I'm done with basketball. And it's good seeing someone like a Spencer Dinwiddie. And if you guys don't even know, like, there's a lot of players that go over to Europe and they just love it over there. That every year it's like they're going to they'll make an NBA roster. But they'll make equal money in the NBA or in Europe. And you can be a star in Europe, or you can be a end of the bench guy in the NBA. And especially if it's one of those players that are elite as a first option. Like, we've seen it in the NBA. Mike James is a great example. We have seen it with Mike James as a player that has been really, like, even on flashes in the NBA, you're like, holy shit, this guy is good. But he's like, Mike James is a like first option type player. As in, if Mike James, he's only really good when he's the first option. He's not going to be this unbelievable spot-up shooter, lockdown defender. He's not going to be this role player. But what he is somebody who, if you were a terrible team in the NBA, Mike James could give you 20 a game. He could give you 20 a game, honestly. But you'd be terrible. Like, Mike James doing Mike James things, he'd be terrible. Whereas in EuroLeague, he has that bit more freedom to score. And, like, if you're a Dinwiddie, you can make probably $4 to $5 million to go play in EuroLeague. That's just my guess off the top of my head. Or you can make a vet minimum to play in the NBA of quarter the amount of money. And if the league doesn't want you, the league doesn't want you. You're going to be sitting on the end of your bench. They might just cut you from a contract. Or you can be the guy for a while. And I think Dinwiddie is good enough to be that. Like, it's not like a Kemba situation. If you guys don't remember the Kemba situation, basically, with Kemba, he was just not, he was so washed that he couldn't even do it at EuroLeague. He wasn't even good enough to play at EuroLeague, so he was that washed. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing, and I do hope that Dinwiddie does well. And I really hope that Dinwiddie just held on at times to his crypto. This was a crypto bro. I really, really hope that he held on to his crypto, because I know it went through the floor. He got paid in crypto. I know he made a lot of money, then lost a lot of money and made a lot of money. I hope that he held on for a bit. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.